Buying a home is more than just a transaction. It's a journey. And for many, it can feel overwhelming, confusing, and even a little scary. But hey, you're not alone. Welcome to From Rents to Roots, Home Ownership with Work Hard Mortgage, where we share real stories from real people who have navigated the home buying process. In each episode, we sit down with first-time homebuyers, industry experts, and real estate professionals to talk about the challenges, surprises, and lessons they've learned along the way. If you're dreaming of owning a home but don't know where to start, you're in the right place. Let's dive in. Welcome to SP Realty.
There we go.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, we chatting a little bit before we started here, but you didn't grow up in Lehigh, so a long ways away, actually.
Yeah,
so
I'm
talk
a
to us
foreigner.
about that. Yeah,
I'm a transplant.
You're
so.
a transplant. Yeah.
Yep. Grew up, born and raised on a ranch in Canada.
Okay.
And then in 2004, I came to Utah.
Okay.
Went to UVU for a little bit.
Okay.
Got a construction management
Sure.
degree. Framed houses for 5 years.
Okay.
Loved it.
Yeah.
But didn't want to do it when I was 40.
Sure.
I was like, this is super fun. Love the guys I worked with. They're still friends with them today. But I'm like, I need something where I can have some fun, make money, and not use my body.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. There's an expiration date on this, right?
There is. Yeah, so I actually sold alarms for a year.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted that lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I wanted to stay home every day. So I chose real estate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been doing real estate ever since what year then?
So I got my license in 2006, part-time until 2010, and then full-time from 10 on.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
That's awesome.
16 years.
Yeah, 16 years. Yeah, good amount of time. So you've obviously ridden out a lot of some good times, but also some harder times, obviously, what we're going into. And
The
stuff
bad
like that.
and the ugly.
Yeah.
We've seen it all, man.
We've seen it all. Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Which props to you for being able to stay in the industry, frankly, because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's not been an easy industry over the last couple of years.
No, and when I was first getting into it, like full-time, 2010, my wife was like, at the time, my wife was like, why are you getting into this full-time? Like, everyone's bouncing, everyone's leaving, everyone's losing their house. And I was what a great time.
Yeah, yeah.
Naive little me, like, what a great time.
Yeah,
So, rode that out and went through COVID and actually had a ton of listings through COVID, so I got lucky with that. And
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been hard. It's been fun, stressful.
Yeah.
But you can golf on a Wednesday afternoon. It's not that stressful.
It does make it nice, right?
Yeah.
That definitely makes it nicer.
That doesn't mean I should be golfing on a Wednesday afternoon, by the way. Let's get that clear.
Yes.
Just means I can.
So talk to us about your construction background and stuff like that. Have you been able to use that in real estate at all, or?
No, totally. I think when I go through houses, I look at things so much different.
Yeah.
Because I've framed them, I've built them, I know bearing walls, I know the structural, I know how it goes. I've seen when I go through a four-way, I know if someone's what to look out for. And when I walk through with a buyer, I don't necessarily just try to sell them on any house. I'm not always, this is a great house. I've many times have gone to a buyer and been like, this isn't it.
Yeah.
Like, let's not, even the first time I've met someone, I'll be like, hey, sorry, you can use someone else if you want, but don't buy this house.
Yeah.
Like, and I think overall that pays off quite a bit, but I can go through and be like, no, this isn't structural because look at your trusses and the way the roof is. And they're like, oh, okay. So, I look at it totally different than most people.
That's huge. I think that could be super useful to have for you as an agent to be able to show to people why you differentiate yourself from other agents. With how many real estate agents are in the market and everything, having that skill is probably huge.
Yeah. I think for two reasons. I think a lot of agents try to just sell every house to them, right? Sure. And point out all the good. And I definitely point out the good, but I'm like, look, this, I can see mold's probably here, or this probably happened, or this water damage, or whatever. But also just being able to walk through and be like, oh, this is an add-on. When we do an inspection, if you decide to move forward, let's make sure we really dive into this part. Or this was Uncle Lou edition. We should be aware of that. We maybe don't want this one. You know what I mean? You can see that too.
Exactly. Built the code, kind of thing. He made this himself.
Uncle Louie came, so let's maybe go to the next.
Again, I think that to Case's point, that does differentiate you as far as construction goes, right? Because obviously everybody should get a home inspection and stuff like that, but oftentimes that's when you're under contract and you're already kind of starting that process. You're able to preempt some of those things maybe ahead of time by saying, hey, this or that, just based off that background.
I did an inspection. I went to an inspection last night on a buyer, and we were talking about a few items, and I'm like, here's the deal, guys. This is their second home. They haven't bought for a while, and I'm like, this is a $15 fix at Home Depot. Let's not ask the sellers to replace this. Let's not be nitpicky. This is $7 here. You can fix this with two 2x4s. But these two items, let's really go hard at because it's a big deal. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, again, so it's not that you're pointing. So sure, anybody can point out things that are wrong, but you're actually saying too, hey, yeah, this is wrong, but it's fixable.
Yeah.
And this is wrong, but hey, this might be a bigger deal. So again, somebody that doesn't have that background may think it all is the same thing, but you're saying no. Hey, sometimes it's a level 1 and sometimes level 10 kind of thing, right?
Yep. And to be honest, I've been doing this for almost 20 years, right? So when I was new, I wasn't that way.
Sure.
I probably went through the first couple inspections and was like, hey, let's get the seller to do all this stuff. These are huge items.
Yeah.
And I probably lost a couple deals because of me.
Sure.
And I
sure.
think every agent probably does that. But
Sure.
when I was new, I wasn't as well as I am now,
Sure.
obviously.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
now I'll prep them going into the inspection, or even, okay, we're under contract. I know that window is broken. That's FHA. Let's not worry about it, but or we'll have to deal with that later. But let's future pace going through the inspection or this or that or something, so you don't lose the deal right off the bat.
Which you just spoke to something important too. Obviously, there's always that a more experienced agent that has that experience, that knowledge, right? A younger agent that's sometimes a little more hungry and a little more aggressive, but doesn't have the experience, kind of thing. Speak to that of why one over the other, if anything. I don't know.
Yeah, I think looking back, and I've said this many times, but looking back in my career, I went through a time where a lot of my transactions were really hard.
Sure.
And I was like, man, these buyers suck, or this seller sucks, or this or that. And then after a while, I'm like, what's the common denominator? It's me. Every single transaction that was hard, the only common denominator in all of them was me. And I'm like, clearly I'm doing something wrong.
Sure,
It's
sure.
a problem.
Sure.
So then I've had to realize future pacing from the beginning literally solves so many problems. Or if a problem comes up, I can be like, hey, remember when we walked through and I was like, hey, don't worry about this. We can fix this. Or YouTube, I'll send you a link. Don't worry. So future pacing problems. And then when you come to them, they're like, oh, yeah, you told me about that. It's no big deal. Instead of, oh, my gosh, the stairs are falling apart.
Yeah.
So it took me 5 or 6 or whatever years to turn around and be like, I'm the problem, right?
Yeah.
The Taylor Swift song, I'm
Sure.
the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
And then from there, mostly it's gone smoother. There's always the one-off, and
Sure.
not everyone's easy to work with, but
Yeah.
for the most part.
Just learning how to set expectations early on and then just maintaining throughout the whole process and expectation. And you've probably gotten better at being transparent when there's issues and stuff like that as well over time.
Yeah.
That definitely goes a long way.
I've gotten a lot better because sometimes you walk through a house and it just smells like dog.
Sure.
And a new agent's going to tiptoe and be like, no, it's fine. And
Sure.
I even sometimes find myself doing that. But for the most part, like you were saying, I've gotten better of just, it is what it is. Your
Yeah.
house stinks.
Yeah.
It can either come from me or it can come from 10 buyers. Which one? Your house sucks. What do you want?
And how do you, so on that note, how did you just direct and stuff like that? How do they take it? I'm guessing some people probably would take it differently. I don't know.
So better or worse, maybe it's not the right way. I usually go back and I'll either make up a story about my last seller or a seller a year ago.
Sure.
Or it's a true story, right?
Sure.
But usually it's a story. Because instead of being like, hey, your house stinks, it's pretty bad, I can't sell this, I'll be like, hey, last fall I actually was selling a house in West Jordan that had a similar problem.
Yep.
This is what we did to fix it and it helped. Now that story may be 100% false.
Sure.
But maybe it's not the right way to go about it. But
Sure.
it's easier for me to be like, hey, I've
We
been
need to
here
fix this.
before.
Yes.
This is how we are going to navigate this.
Yeah.
You know?
And so maybe whether the specifics are exactly sure, maybe it didn't actually smell like dog, the last one, but I would assume that you have had experiences where there was something wrong, you offered a suggestion and they fixed it and it sold better.
Yeah.
So maybe more general is still true, even if the specifics are
Yeah.
not the exact.
That's how I
Just to give you a
sleep
little
at
benefit
night.
here.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's how I
I'm
sleep
trying to
at
help
night.
you here, right?
It's not a complete
It's not a flat out lie
Yeah.
here. I'm trying to give you a little more general.
Yeah. My wife's an agent too, and she does a ton of transactions. So sometimes my stories are really hers.
Sure, fair.
I just don't say that. So it's not a full lie.
Sure. But again, that's why I say you're tapping into a way to explain something to somebody, which is, hey, I know what I'm doing. This is better if you follow me on this one.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
My philosophy is my end goal is to get them what they want
Sure.
and get them where they want.
Yes.
And that's a step in that direction.
Sure.
So,
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
yeah. But it is hard. Like, how do you tell a parent their baby's ugly?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You don't.
you don't. Yeah.
You don't. Yes. There's certain things we're just gonna it doesn't matter.
But,
yeah, we don't need to do that. So, well, good. So talking to newer agents and maybe newer loan officers and stuff like that. So sometimes it's because again, now you do have a lot of experience, right? There's probably very little you haven't seen in your career. So sometimes a newer agent, a newer loan officer may feel a little bit like, hey, I don't know if I can compete because I don't have the knowledge. And the only way to get knowledge is to just keep doing this job, right? So I don't know. Do you have any advice to those newer agents, newer loan officers that are kind of going through that? And maybe that would be a separate question. But
No, I would say if you take how to get a price reduction on a home, right? If you take that scenario, for a long time that was really hard for me to do. I got to call this guy up and be like, "Hey, I told you it was worth $700, now it's worth $680. We got to lower." That was a really hard conversation for me to have when I was newer. And in my eyes, the two best ways to get over that is one, get more listings. Because when you have 10 listings, it's way easier to call one up and be like, "Hey, I was wrong. This is the market. This is what I'm seeing everywhere else. Deal with it." Maybe a little bit nicer, but basically, "Hey, this is it." When you have one, and that's your only paycheck coming up, you're just like, "Hey, seller, like you're so much more nervous." The other thing is, I finally had to just realize I'm not getting paid either way.
Yeah.
We stay at 700, we're not getting paid. So just have a brutally honest conversation. Take your commission completely out of it. You're not getting any of that anyways. So just be like, "Hey, either I'm not getting paid or I'm going to have a hard conversation and maybe get paid."
Yeah.
And so once I took the commission out of it and been like, "Hey, this is just the market. This isn't me. This is the market."
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to call them up and be like, "Hey, this sucks, but this is where we're at."
Yeah.
And if they say no, you're not getting paid either way. If they say yeah, you're getting paid.
Yeah. I like
Yeah, I
that.
think that's a good way to think about it. Just I guess disconnecting yourself from the outcome and just being in the moment and doing what is the right thing to do rather than fixating on the outcome that you want.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. Take the actual outcome out of it.
Yep.
We're here, right? How do we get to the next step? Just take the commission breath out. You're not attached to the outcome. That's a great way of wording it. Just, we're here, still with the problem. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
Nice.
Talk to me then about, I guess, loan officers are obviously partnerships are important, right? As far as having a good team, right? You need good title, you need good inspectors, you need home warranty, obviously you need a good lender and stuff like that. What things are you looking for in that partnership?
To me, I didn't understand that for a lot of years. I thought it was just kind of me, and then we all kind of just did our jobs separately, which I didn't fully understand how important it was to have a team, right? For one, I think it makes you sound a lot more professional as an agent when you're like, "Hey, I got a team.
Yep.
This is who I use. This is what we're doing." And then you can just track out a road map or a game plan and be like, "This is who we're using. This is the steps. This is when it comes in.
Sure.
This is when it comes in." The other thing is sometimes I've had a lender column or a title column, and I will try multiple different times to get something, or maybe to kind of get a point across to a seller. And if I'm struggling with that, I've had the lender column and be like, "Hey, this is going to sound a lot better from you."
Sure.
Because if I say this, it's going to sound like I just want a commission.
Sure.
So this is where we're at. Can you call them and just explain this?
Yeah.
And it doesn't look that bad coming from you guys.
I feel like I've definitely experienced that as well. Sometimes you have to either tell them some update or anything like that, and it just is more reassuring when it's coming from multiple people, or if it's coming from either the lender or the realtor. So I agree with you.
Yeah. And vice versa, right? Sometimes it might be smarter for the agent to say something than the lender, and back and forth. But just sometimes I think our clients look at us like, "You just want a commission check. You're only saying that because you want to get paid." And I'm like, "No, this literally is the best thing for you."
Yeah.
And then I'll call you and be like, "Hey, can you tell them?"
Yeah.
So having someone to be able to do that's important.
That 2 or 3 witnesses kind of thing, right? You know, because one person only, right? It does help to have multiple people saying it, because do you want to get paid? Of course you want to get paid. So is that motivation there? But it's not the primary motivation, right?
Yeah.
You're actually trying to help them. You're trying to do these things, and so sure, yeah, a byproduct of this closing is I do get paid.
Yeah, that's why we do it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's not the reason I'm telling you to do X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah. It's like I can tell my son, a million times to do something for lacrosse.
Sure.
Go do this. And he's, what do you know? What do you know? But then his coach will say something and he'll come home and be like, Dad, did you know if I do? And I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously?
I've been telling you that.
Yeah.
I know.
It's the same thing.
I
You
know.
know?
My wife loves that when I have an idea and she's like, that was my idea.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it just felt so much like mine.
It sounded so good when I said
It
it,
sounded so
you
good when
know?
I said it. But she loves that too,
Yeah.
by the way. You can tell. So
It goes over well.
it goes
for
over
sure.
well. Yeah, super well. Yeah, super well. Okay, good. Obviously, having that good team and stuff like that is important, right? Anything else on that subject?
No, I think you just evolve as you go through. I look back and kind of cringe at my own self 10
Sure.
years ago, and not only real estate, but most of my life.
Sure.
Let's make that.
We're working. We're all working.
But I look back and I just, going back to me, I'm the problem. I struggle. There was so many hard deals just back to back to back, and I'm like, you got to be joking me. This is not what I want.
Yeah.
And I don't know what did it for me, but somehow I realized, ooh, maybe I'm a sucky agent. Maybe I suck. I don't think I was that bad, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
you kind of realize there's other people doing it right, and it's not me. So figure that out.
Props to you for having the introspection to look at yourself and say, hey, yeah, maybe I can improve some things here. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because a lot of people have a hard time doing that, looking at themselves and saying, I'm the problem, it's me.
Yeah.
That's difficult to do because that means, oh, crap, I got to fix some things here.
Yeah. Well,
just in general in life.
I don't think my wife would agree that I'm good at looking at that.
Fair enough. Okay. You start with real estate, you'll eventually
let's
get to the
just
whole
start
husband
there.
thing. Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
yeah.
Fair enough.
But the good thing about me being the problem is I'm also the solution.
Fair enough.
That's what really clicked to me is, yeah, I may be the problem, but that also means I'm the one that can fix this. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Love
Yeah,
that.
that's a cool mindset.
I love that. Okay, so let's pivot a little bit to the market here in Utah and stuff like that. We're halfway through 2026. You know, I think some of us thought rates were going to really come down, and 2026 was maybe going to be the breakout year. It's
We're hoping.
we were hoping. It's been an okay year, I think, from a real estate standpoint. I don't know. Talk to us just in general about Utah's market this year.
Okay. So I do commercial as well, so I dip into commercial and residential, so it's fun to go back and forth with that. I've noticed just in general, and I'm sure you did too, but when rates came down last week or 2 weeks ago, everyone came out of the woodwork and they go up a little bit and everyone disappears and you get tons of listings or tons of showings and all that. The craziest thing I've noticed this year is the ripple effect of COVID, where now for years everybody wanted to be farther away from the main arteries of I-15, Bangor, Pioneer. They want to be farther away, and now it seems like buyers want to be a lot closer. And so the houses, whether it's West Valley or Eagle Mountain or whatever's far away, even if it shows well, priced well, great home, doesn't really get that much traffic. For the closer ones. The other thing I've noticed this year too, the end of last year, was pre-COVID, every buyer, or most buyers would walk through a house and be like, oh, it needs paint, but that's fine. I'll do that when I move in, right? Or it needs this, but I'll do it when I move in. No big, I like the house, no big deal. Now they're like, if it's not turnkey, I don't want to do a single thing to it. And it's hard to convince sellers to prep their house and put money into it when they're leaving.
Sure.
And it's hard to basically set the expectation to the buyer of, you're not going to find the perfect house.
Yeah.
Let's find an area you like, the price point you like,
Yeah.
the bones you like, and then let's kind of figure out the little details after that.
Sure. Because we can add paint easily.
Yeah,
You know.
paint's
Yeah,
easy.
Why do you think that is, especially this year, is something you're noticing more?
I think it's your generation. Just kidding.
Talk to us about what.
We don't have time for that. But no, I think it's just people don't want to put work into the home or a yard, or maybe everything costs so much money now. Like a yard's 3 times as it used to be years ago, or maybe. And I don't want to get too much into the younger generation, but like maybe they just don't really know how to do the paint, or it seems daunting,
Sure.
which it's not. So me and you are like, yeah, we can paint a room. And other people may just be like, oh, I got to paint this. Like, I could be $8,000.
Sure.
Like, it's not. Like,
Sure. Because that's something that they would probably have to pay for, as opposed to paint is by far the easiest. There's no skill required.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
What are your thoughts? Well, that's kind of mine, but I don't. What are you guys seeing with that?
in that case, what do you think about your generation here? Is that
Yeah, I don't know.
fellow
I can,
painter
I can
yourself.
kind of see where you're coming from. A little bit. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like
if
maybe
you
it's
found
just
a house that was needed to be done, what side would you fall on?
me personally.
Yeah.
I think I would be down to put in the work. I think I'm somebody
He
who
says that because I just said
We called him out.
No, just kidding. No, I don't know. I think it could just be maybe a lot of people just want that perfect thing to post on social media or something. They want to impress people. They don't want to settle for something that doesn't look as cool as their parents' house. I don't know, something
That's
like
a good
that.
point, no?
Could be something because of that, or just we're just used to doing things different now with everybody growing up with the internet, and everything is different than you guys, where you had to actually send actual letters with paper. You know what I'm
Carbon
saying?
copy.
Yeah, carbon
Can you
copy.
imagine?
It's a different era, so
Yeah.
I think it could just be that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be too. Like you were saying, everyone on Instagram is posting the perfect house or the perfect room or check out this. And maybe the expectation in general is just a little bit off. And I think going through COVID, I don't want to keep going back to COVID, but going through COVID, you could ask for the world, right? As a seller, you could
Yes.
you do whatever. And so maybe that's kind of still carrying on. I don't know.
Why do you think, you mentioned two things, so you mentioned that, but then you also mentioned people moving closer to the arteries as opposed to further out. Why do you think that's changed?
I can't figure that one out, to be
Okay.
honest. I don't know, because for years leading up to COVID, everyone wanted farther out. You can get more bang for your buck, right?
Sure.
Spanish, Eagle Mountain, West Valley. Everyone was moving out there, and I don't think they mind traveling. And I don't understand it, because now I think people work from home more than they did pre-COVID. So it seems like that it should have flopped, like it should have been okay now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if gas prices are so much, or I don't know if just
More traffic, have to deal with traffic.
yeah,
I don't
maybe
know.
it's just more traffic.
Because COVID, we could move out that far and there was nobody, remember the freeways were empty.
Yeah.
So now they're not so empty.
They're not empty, no.
Yeah.
I'm brainstorming with you. I don't
No,
know the
it's-
answer either, but
yeah.
because during that time, if you moved out, it's not bad because, again, traffic was never that bad because people were still quarantined in the house. and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
Sure.
like Pioneer Crossing's a mess. Hate driving out to Eagle Mountain. Could be because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could just be all the construction, and I don't know. I haven't understood that. I figured out kind of the end of last
Sure.
fall, that was kind of like all the listings that far away. I'm like, oh, that will sell. And it just sat and sat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I don't have an answer. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting data point then, I guess.
And I could be totally wrong.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
that's actually why we like having people come on. Is because, hey, again, you represent a portion of the population with the people that you're dealing with and stuff like that. So, like, I'm curious if you're the outlier or if you're part of a larger whole, that is what they're seeing too. So, I don't know. That's why we talk about these things. But so, what advice would you have then right now for buyers looking to navigate this market right now?
Buyers, I would say write down your top 10 things, right? There's going to be some non-negotiables, obviously, but look for 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Like, you're not going to find a perfect house. Even people, I'm sure you guys run into this, even people that custom build their own home, a year later, I'd change that. I wish this was different. I do that. So I'm like, look, if it's a first-time home buyer, go into it like you have a 2-year savings account is what you're buying, or a 3-year savings account. Like, that's what it is. It's not your forever home. If you love the area and it works, great. But don't try to go for a 10 out of 10 every single time, or you're never going to. And when's the best time to buy a home? Yesterday.
Sure.
When's the second best time to buy a home? Today.
Today, yeah.
Have you guys ever, in lending, have you guys ever met someone that was like, I wish I would have waited longer to buy?
Yeah, never.
Never, right?
Yeah. No.
So to me, I'm like, just pull the trigger, and then you're going to be, like, if rates go up, you're going to be stoked that we got you a home. If they go down, come to you and refi.
Yeah.
You don't lose either way, and it's
No.
really hard for me to convey that to the public of pull the trigger now. You guys need to buy now. Because then when I say that, they're like, you just want to get paid. I'm like, no, I want you to get what you want. I also get it, but I want you guys to get what you want for the long-term goal.
Yeah. I think there's sometimes, what would you say to somebody that, hey, I can rent this house for cheaper than I could buy this house. So why don't I just keep renting? What would you say to that person?
I always go to the end goal and work backwards.
Okay.
There are some scenarios when I've had people say that to me, and they're like, hey, I'm doing this and this. And I'm like, honestly, just rent. It's better for you to rent. It's cheaper. You're moving out of state in a year or whatever, right?
Sure.
Just rent.
Yeah.
But in a lot of cases, if it's longer than a year, or depending what their goals are, with tax benefits and with equity and how the market's changing, and if they want to keep it as a rental or not, or at least have that option. There's so many different scenarios where just buy now. And like I said, I've never met a buyer that was like, man, really wish I didn't buy that house. Or,
Yeah.
man, I wish I would have waited longer. I've never met someone that says that.
Yeah.
No investor, no buyer, no seller.
Yeah.
Even COVID, like when you guys were doing loans, it was 30, 40, 50 grand over asking, and not one of them says right now, oh, I wish I didn't buy that.
Yeah. I think it speaks to human nature too, with rent and buy and stuff like that, where we all grow into our income. And so sure, if it is more expensive to buy a home, if, let's say it's 2,000 versus 2,500, or just to give some numbers here, if you're spending 2,000 on rent, my guess is that other 500 that you would have been spending on a mortgage will go out to food, groceries, other things that you find you want to spend money on. So if you have that 2,500 now that goes towards a mortgage, it's almost, and that's why I tell people all the time, buying is so much better because it's a forced savings plan.
Yep.
And you will live your life. You will be more frugal now because you have $500 going towards a mortgage, and that'll pay off over that period of time because now you have a house that's paid for.
Yeah.
Whereas rent, because again, it's just human nature that you're going to grow into your income, whatever that is.
Yep.
People say, I can't spend that much. It's pretty easy to spend.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think that's again also why it's so good to buy, is because it locks people into a better behavior that ultimately will pay off. I see people that are not good with finances, and luckily they bought a home though, and so we've been able to refinance and help them pay off debt because they had all this equity in their home.
Totally.
Even though their financial mess was not as good, right?
Yep.
And so again, that's just why I think home ownership is just another benefit to people versus renting, which is essentially interest only.
Yeah, 100% interest.
It's 100%
They're
interest.
worried about 6%, and I'm like, but you're paying 94% more.
Yes,
but
exactly. Yeah.
It's up to you.
Yeah. Yes. I don't know. It
And
just
in that scenario, the $500 difference that they would, renting was cheaper, they'd go blow it on food or whatever. At least down the road, they're getting that whole $500 back.
that's exactly it, because it's principal. Yeah, you're paying on principal on
Yeah.
it.
When you go out to Cafe Rio, you're not getting that back
Yeah.
if you're renting.
Yeah, you might get some rewards, maybe a free meal every now and
Yeah.
then. But yes, no, you're right. You're not getting that back, right?
Yeah.
No, again, I think just from a long-term wealth standpoint, homeownership, any statistic you ever see, net worth of a renter versus net worth of a homeowner,
Yep.
leaps and bounds ahead. You know, it's so much better and stuff.
I had a seller last summer. She got divorced. She's getting a ton of equity in her home. And she's, hey, I'm just like, sell my home. I'm just going to go rent for a year or two, and then I'll buy. And I'm like, look, you can do whatever you want. I'm not telling you how to live your life, but I've seen this a million times. If you go rent, you're going to blow all the equity on trips,
Yes.
gifts, fun. And then in a year or two, you're going to come to me and be like, I don't have a down payment. Like, you can go rent. I'm not telling you what to do, but let's just go look at a few homes just to see what's out there. And she bought, and I'm like, thank you. Because it's not for me. It's the best thing for, I've seen it go the other way too many times. And I'm like, oh, no, you need to buy. Save your money.
That's a great example, actually. Again, I think it speaks to why it's better for people. It helps. If you're an alcoholic, you don't go into a bar.
Yeah.
So certain things we try to do things to prevent what we know would happen. So if we like to spend money, and I'm not sure I know anybody that doesn't really like to spend money, then do things to prevent yourself from spending it. So in your point, put that money into a home. You can't. That's hard to spend.
Yeah.
You can. There's ways to get at it, but it's hard.
Still can, but it's not easy.
It's not easy. And
that was a true story, by the way. I didn't make it up.
That's good. That's good. We can trust you again. We're good. Okay. I love that. Anyhow, yeah, no, good. This is good stuff. So in this market, any advice for those that are selling? Hey, we bought a home during COVID. We got that great rate. I don't really want to move, but we have now 5 kids in a home that we only had 2 kids in.
Yeah. Dude, my advice to sellers, if I could just be brutally honest, is do a CMA and price it 10% below that, or 5% below that. Like, you will never, ever sell a house below market.
Okay.
Ever. I don't care the market. I don't care the rate. I don't care the condition of the home. You cannot sell a house below market value unless you price it way above, right? But if you can price it, do a CMA, say it's worth 700, listed at 675, 660, whatever. Every seller's, I'm losing that 40 grand. That 40 grand is in the cloud that you don't have. So you want everyone to come. You want to make sure everyone sees your house, not your neighbors. You want offers. Yeah. It's like eBay. You can sell a pencil for how many dollars if you started at a penny, right?
Sure.
But if you try to sell a pencil for $10, it's going to sit there. But sellers are like, that money, I need that money. And I'm like, you don't have it. but I can get it for you, but you don't have it.
Yeah.
So walk me through that scenario then. Somebody listed at 675, you're saying, what does it end up selling for then?
So let's just say for easy numbers, it's worth 700, right? And every seller's, mine's way better than Joe's down the street. I want 740. It's going to just sit forever, and then we're going to have a bunch of conversations about lowering it. And then by the time it comes to 700, it's been on the market for 120 days, and every buyer's going to say, what's wrong with it?
Sure.
It's been on the market forever, so then they're going to offer 680. And then you've gone through how many mortgage payments as the seller, and now you're desperate, and so you have to take it, or that's your only offer. So you're like, yeah, let's take it at 680. Versus it's worth 700. We put it at 680. We have a ton of people look at it, and then you have more offers, more bidding. You're in a better position as the seller to be like, I don't want to do A, B, and C on the inspection because we've only been on the market for a weekend. It's just, it puts yourself in such a better position, and you end up getting way closer to the 700.
Because multiple offers, most likely, right? People know it's being priced there. And you're saying you also have more control as a seller because if there's something wrong with the house, but they know that multiple people were offering, they might not be one hitting you up for fixing XYZ because they're like, I don't want to lose this deal because I know he had 3 other people trying to buy it.
Yeah, it's leverage. It gives you leverage and money and saves you time, the mortgages, the stress.
Yeah.
We don't have to call them and say, hey, do you want a price reduction?
Yeah.
Why is my house not selling?
Love that. Love that. That's good advice, actually. That's that you can tell. Again, experience, right? Hey.
Yeah,
you've-
set expectations.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. This has been great. I appreciate you talking to us for a little bit. Any advice you have for new guys that are just starting off and stuff like that? What advice do you have to those just entering the mortgage or real estate field?
So I'll point towards you, but any of us, I'm kind of going through the same transition, right? I've moved around a little bit. I've watched people do everything from call FSBOs to network to work in SOI to do open. I've seen it all, tried it all.
Yeah.
I think the best way is just networking. Just, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
I've called thousands of FSBOs and expireds. Thousands. I've spent thousands and thousands of hours on the phone.
Yeah.
But the best deals ever come to me when a past client or a buddy or someone I golf with. Just the other day we were golfing and someone brought a new guy in and we're like, hey, you looking for, he said, do you know anyone that does commercial? I'm like, I do. And I'm like, cool, I'm looking for ABC. It was just,
There you go.
I was their agent.
Yeah.
So to me, if you're new, or even me, I've had to go back since COVID and start networking a lot more because I secretly started to hide more and more and more. So if you're new or whatever, just network. Just get out there and find. I've said this for years. I think women have an advantage in the industry because they'll take their kids to cheer and baseball and football. They have all these little tribes and networks and they just tap into.
Yeah.
And they're not selling. They're not like, hey, who's buying or selling? They're just dropping Timmy off here and Johnny off here and then Sage here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're just networking. So for the younger people, or just find 3 or 4 groups and just consistently network with them.
Yeah. Love that. Love that. You're trying to do that too.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just getting yourself out there. It's
Because then you don't come across salesy, right?
Yeah,
And nobody
exactly.
wants that.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're brand new, you got to do it all. You
Yeah.
got to do the calls, the prospects,
course,
the network. You got to do it all. And sometimes you can really this is 3 weeks old, so this is new for me. I have nothing to come from it. But I just started playing pickleball once a week because I'm like, I want to network and get to know a ton of people that live in Lehigh.
yeah.
And then, but I don't want to be like, hey, I'm an agent. What are you doing? I just
Yeah.
want to get to know a ton of people, and
Yeah.
naturally they'll be like, oh yeah, Taylor sells homes.
Yeah, there you go. And you get to play pickleball, enjoy yourself.
And I get to play pickleball and get mocked, so it's perfect.
Well, I think you frankly speak to something that's important is because at the end of the day, assuming, so there are crappy loan officers, there are crappy realtors, right? So there's some that just, they're not as good. But assuming you met a certain level of criteria where, okay, hey, I know what I'm doing as a loan officer, I know what I'm doing as a realtor. Okay, then how do you differentiate yourself from the other 100 guys that also legitimately are good at their job, right?
Yep.
And I think that comes down to what you just said with the pickleball thing, which is it's putting yourself out there so people know you, because at the end of the day, people would rather do business with people they know and trust than some random guy, right? And so if they get to know you, it's okay. If you're competent, then I'm going to use you. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe that's my problem.
You are. You have already spoken to us. So I know you are. The way you answer your questions and stuff, you're good. I can tell. So then it just comes down to, do I know you and do I like you then? Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's, and the only way to do that is frankly to get out there. There's not a shortcut to that, really.
No,
do you know what I mean?
It's uncomfortable sometimes. Pickleball to me was very uncomfortable. But going back to that golf experience, I golf with the same 3 guys all the time, and one was out of town, so we brought in another guy. And I've met him once before, golfing, ironically, but literally we were on hole number 6 or 7, and he's urinate because I was wearing this hat.
Sure. Yeah.
I always try to wear something.
Yeah.
Not overbearing, but
yeah.
And he's, hey, you're an agent, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's, do you do residential or commercial? I'm like, I do both. And he goes, sweet. I need A, B, C. And like I said, that was it. It wasn't like, hey, let's sit down and kind of see this order. It's just like, go find me this.
Yeah.
And I was like,
there you go.
Dude, I need to golf more often. Or
That's
network.
No, I like your take. You're right. Yeah. And again, this is a people business, right? So at the end of the day, it's all about people. And because otherwise, deep pockets could win the race, and I don't think you see that happening ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Big bank. If otherwise, Chase or Wells Fargo, who have far deeper pockets than I do, would dominate here, right? And they don't, right? It's because again, it's all about relationships and people.
Yeah.
And same thing with real estate side. You got deep pockets in real estate, but at the end of the day, it's still people.
Yeah. Well, like when me and you met, we were just chilling, bantering, having a good
Hanging
time
out at the drink section at the party.
Yeah. And I was like, all right. And they weren't alcoholic, you know.
Sure.
It was soda.
Just to clarify.
Just Dr. Pepper. All right. But no, we had a good conversation. We were just kind of mocking some people and having some fun. I'm like, all right, this is fun.
Yeah.
And not some people you're just like pulling teeth out of, and I'm not going to go talk to this guy for an hour. There's no freaking way.
Sure. So that was at what event again?
It was like the Utah Life office grand opening over in like Linden.
Okay.
Yeah, Pleasant Grove.
That's awesome. So again, just putting yourself out there is what happened there. Going to the events, getting out there and stuff like that. So on the podcast we do Roots and Branches of Lehigh, that's one of the things I've learned is just how many community things there are, and that's one of the best ways to get involved is just to go to the events. Go to Roundup Week. Go to, whatever events they're doing and stuff like that. Just participate. Because sometimes people, I don't like this community. Nobody does anything. It's you that actually, you talk about, I'm the problem, it's me. It's you don't go out there, right? So the reason you don't feel connected to the community is because you're not participating.
Yeah.
The community is participating.
There's lots going on.
There's lots going on. You're just not a part of it.
Yep.
And that's a choice you've made, person.
I think, too, it's fine if you don't, but then that also takes away the card that you can't complain.
Correct. Yes, exactly.
Right? You're not going to do
maybe
anything
you don't
about
enjoy that stuff. You don't want to do it. Sure.
Yeah. But then don't complain about it.
Correct. Yes. No. Exactly. Yeah. This has been great. I appreciate you coming on and talking. Is there anything we didn't cover that you kind of wanted to talk about?
No, I think we're good. I was going to tell a couple stories, but I don't know if you.
Let's hear a story.
So yesterday when we were talking, you said have a story in mind, and you can edit this out if you guys want to. By the way, it's up to you guys. I don't care if this is on the podcast or not, but before COVID, this is the story that I always remember, but I was showing a house in the Layton area, and we had 3 houses really close in almost the same neighborhood. And so I said, hey, to the buyer, walked out of one, said, hey, next house is blah, blah, blah. I'll meet you up there. I'm just going to walk up.
Yeah.
I'm on my phone, driving down the street, and I smoked a dog. Legit ran over. And I've never felt so bad because there was like an 11-year-old boy on the sidewalk watching.
Oh, no.
And the scream that came from it, dude, I felt so bad. But I have clients in the next house, right? Like...
You can't just keep going.
But you can't keep going.
Yeah.
And so I pulled over, and the dad runs out because he thinks his son just got hit. The way he screamed, he thought his son. And the dog, I mean, it was live. It was fine. It ran back to the sidewalk, and he's grabbed him in his jacket, and he's, let's go to the vet. And I pulled over, and I was like, what do I do? I'm like, oh. So I'm like, I'm sorry, and talked to him for a second. And he ran him to the vet. Go to the next house. It didn't say anything.
You just had it on your conscience.
Yeah, totally. I gotta be a poker face. Don't buy this house, basically. And then realized once we got done that I actually left the previous house open. Oh. So I had to go back to lock it up. Anyways, that's probably the worst story ever, or the worst showing.
Sure.
And
That's
that buyer
wild.
didn't know for years, for years. Finally, I told her.
Did they end up buying
But-
that house or no?
Not that one,
Not that
but
one.
like
Okay, yeah, another
one of
stuff.
the three. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, I felt so bad though. But whenever someone's, hey, do you bring up some stories in real estate, for some reason that pops up, and I'm like, I don't share this very often, but it's been a long time.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know?
No, thanks
the
for
dog
sharing.
was fine
Yeah.
though. Let's make sure that the dog was fine. But
Good.
That's
Good.
wild.
I was texting too, and that's why you don't text and drive, man.
Gotcha.
That's the moral of the story.
I think that's. I always try to look at the positive, and that stopped me a lot of times from texting and driving now, because if it could have been a kid.
Sure. Which would have been awful.
Yeah, so I'm like, maybe that happened to me to make sure I'm off my phone a lot more.
Sure, because what other times did it prevent then, I guess,
Yeah.
right? That's what you're
Yeah.
saying. Sure.
So you
I
can
like
edit that out if you want.
No,
but-
I love that. That's a good
I'm
story.
leaving it in.
Well, yeah, put it front and center. We're going to take that story, put it at the very beginning to make sure everybody listens to it. So.
Not every agent can say that, I hope.
Yes.
I guess going back to like when I was a new agent, I remember the very first deal that was under contract that didn't close. And I didn't know that was possible.
Sure.
Like when I was a brand new agent, I was like,
Oh, we're under
"Oh,
contract."
Yeah, you get a paycheck. Like, let's go
Done.
blow some money.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we did the inspection, and she's, now I want to back out. And I was like completely thrown off. I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
We don't back out. We're on track. You know,
Yeah.
she's like, no, I don't like it. And I don't remember the details. It was forever ago, but I remember, okay, so in real estate, until it's done, you don't get paid. I've gone to the closing table where the buyer and the seller signed, never closed.
Yeah.
I've gone to the closing table in '08 and had the lender call me at title, at closing, and say, hey, the company that's lending your buyer money just went out of business,
Oh,
so
geez.
you can't sign the rest of your docs.
Yes.
So I've learned, hey, until the money's in
Until
your
it's
account,
wired.
it's not done.
Yeah.
Anything can go.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of agents that will go under contract and go buy a watch or go do this or that, and I'm
Sure.
like, bro, don't.
That's risky business.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, what about you? Any words of wisdom or experiences or stories?
You've said it all. You've done such a good job.
I don't know about that.
That I feel much wiser now from all of this. No, to your point with when I first started, I remember seeing a guy that would, he bought a new truck after closing deals and stuff like that. And so you say, hey, don't even spend your money before you have it. I would agree with that. And I would go a step further and say, especially in a commission business, budget, be wise with it, right? Because just because you made X amount of dollars this month,
Yeah.
that the next month you can make zero.
Yep.
So be smart with it, because that's how this industry is.
No.
And be wise, be frugal. It'll do you wise.
Yeah, because you
So-
could have the next month lined up looking good, and 4 of those fall apart.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And now all of a
So-
sudden, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And to be able to not have that commission breath, or to not be so desperate for it, if you are smart when you do get it, then you don't come across ever as desperate, because you
Yeah.
don't literally need it. Do you know what I mean? Sure, I'd love to close it, but I'll eat whether you
Yeah.
close it or not. So I don't know. It just, on your point on money. But
Yeah. There you go. Helps you
So-
sleep better too.
Yeah.
Not
helps you
stressed
sleep
as
better.
much.
Yes. Yes.
This job is stressful enough when things are going well.
It is. I agree. Yes. No, I agree.
Yeah.
Hey, this has been great. I appreciate you coming on. Some good advice here. And
This has been fun, man.
Yeah.
This has been good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good.
A little bit worried going into it.
yeah, we don't know what people are
Yeah,
going to
you
say.
never
You
know what's happening with me, man. Never know what you're going to
Some
get.
random dog story of hitting.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that would come out or not. But no, appreciate you coming on. And
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you again sometime. So thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Okay. See you.
There we go.
Thanks for tuning in to From Rents to Roots. I hope today's episode gave you insight, confidence, and maybe even a little inspiration on your homeownership journey. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who might find it helpful. And if you're ready to take the next step in buying a home, or just have questions, reach out to me or my team at Work Hard Mortgage. We'd love to help you on your path to homeownership. Until next time, keep working hard, keep building your future, and we'll see you soon.